This is Kid 90s 4 number 5, and even the cover is an overwhelming failure. Fans of this series, if they exist, they might be irked for me to devote another video to mainly the cover again, but this is a basket full of bad meat. This is worse than Issue 3's cover. Issue 3's cover was a problem because it was misjudged. This is just a cover that is failing on every front. Even the art is below par, but that shouldn't take away from the fact that Ron Frenz has years and years and years of great covers under his belt. The biggest problem is not the artwork anyway. It is the layout and the idea and then some other things. Let's do that list backwards, because that is also the order of how much they ruin the cover. The other things I speak of are that this cover, issue 5 of 5, this is the first cover to feature this character in his actual design. This isn't a decent look at it, and nor does it make the character look good in his own right. Which brings us on to the idea. On the first cover featuring this character properly, in the first miniseries introducing this character, the only cover that has him on in his main look, he is calling out, "Avengers, assemble." This is immediately diminishing him by making it readily apparent that he needs the Avengers to either help him out or prop him up as a character. And then the final point, and this is such a big thing, I could do a video just about this and how stupid it is. For some reason, the book's title is at the bottom, and it is covering a quarter of his face. This is insanely awful design. There was a 4 issue around the same time, the one with the Simon Waltonson cover with Amanda the Enchanter on it. And that was one of the best covers ever. And they ruined it by having the title like this. They had it in the centre, covering parts of the art. Comics have never had titles at the bottom. Why are they putting it at the bottom here? Switch the 2 bits of text around. Have a smaller speech bubble at the bottom saying Avengers Assemble. Or don't have a speech bubble at all. Just have some block text at the bottom, maybe saying the same thing. Comics have never had titles at the bottom or on the centre, and there was a reason for that. On a spinner rack, you would only see the very top part. That is why the important shit, like the title and the issue number and the cover date, all that stuff is at the top, so it was on display. Imagine this piece of shit on a spinner rack. You wouldn't even be able to see this bit here with the issue number. Sincerely, and I say this from the bottom of my cold, dead arse, fuck this cover because it is one of the worst put together covers of our times. This cover could have Comic Sans on it and it wouldn't be made any worse. So let's talk about the design for Kid 94. Best thing I can say about it is that he is very prepared for COVID. It's not awful. I think the face mask and the goggles, they overcomplicate it a lot. But then at the same time, without them, it becomes incredibly lifeless. It is a step up from the Mk2 design, but the character is not a step up from his Mk2 counterpart. So here it is him and the Avengers, or rather 3 Avengers and 3 Benson Avengers versus Gok 1. I wouldn't be against an Avengers versus Gok 1 story. I think that could be loads of fun. This is a bad guy that Thor can't really beat himself. So adding the Avengers to the mix would be fun. But we are getting to see that in the background of a Kid 94 comic where Gok 1 really should not be the bad guy. Kid 94 having the assistance of Thor and the Avengers doesn't mitigate the problem of this is not a bad guy you should ever bring out to face a new hero or a kid hero. It is a bad guy that Thor cannot beat, so it should never be handed down to anyone below Thor's power class with the intention of them winning somehow. I remember Steve Engeltine, the mentally frail writer Steve Engeltine. He had Silver Surfman fight Gok 1. Well, he had Willow fight Gok 1, really. But Silver Surfman, that is one that works. Silver Surfman fighting Gok 1 works because Silver Surfman is in or is above Thor's power class. Gok 1 is a suitable opponent for Silver Surfman. He is not suitable for the new hero on the block, Kid 94. Even with the Avengers doing the heavy lifting. I mean, here, look. He just swats Thor away. I talked about the tendency at Marvel to do this with villains. To have big deal baddies get smacked around by kids or new heroes. Part of the reason I have rushed to do this is because I realised I overlooked a dead obvious thing. I was listing bad guys, quality heavy hitter bad guys, that Marvel let all the young kids beat and thus ruin the threat of those bad guys who in the past could beat Thor or Hercules Man or the Avengers. I listed off a few names, but I didn't think of Crusher Man. And the thing with him is, he actually would work here. He would work in this series. He had that friendship with 90s Thor. And I cannot believe that Tom Falcon and Ron French didn't think that he could have been in place of Rhino Man in issue 1, or that stupid Gold Man, or just rewrite the whole thing. Yeah, do that. Rewrite the whole thing, because it is shite. Also, I said Gok 1 versus Kid 94 was the worst it ever got with these sorts of villains. But I was wrong. I think the Avengers University kids fighting and beating Korvac Dallas is probably worse than this. I didn't have much more to say other than I do want to show that Kid 94, he does beat Gok 1. Awful. Absolutely awful. 7 thumbs up.